Welcome along once again to Queensland Raceway for the second round of the Hi-Tec Oils Australian FX-Superbike Championship of 2018. Previously, we brought you all the action from the bikehaggle.com.au Superbikes and the Patrice Dampers Supersports and Amsport 600s. Today, we feature the major support categories and we commence our coverage with the Shock Treatment 400 Supersports. After receiving some early season education in bike preparation from setup specialist and legend Peter Campbell, KTM rider Keogh Watson currently leads the standings after a dominant opening round at Sydney Motorsport Park. He heads Kawasaki rider Andrew Edzer by 40 points, with Mitchell Kuhn a further 5 points in arrears, who hopes to do well at his home event. And the Shark Leathers rider caught up with Becky Lamb a little earlier.
Yesterday was a big day for this guy. Mitch Kuhn, you came off yesterday and you still managed to have a really successful afternoon. Talk us through it.
Yeah, no, did good in qualifying, but in the first race I got taken out, which is unfortunate. Got back up, able to finish the race in 6th place, so I was happy with that. So it was real competitive with everyone out there, just battling it out. It's awesome racing, really good for the spectators, good for us. It keeps us on our toes, and it's honestly best fun.
Now, you came away with a few podiums yesterday as well, one podium as well. Now, I want to know how competitive this class is. I know that you came off, you still came 6th, so you're obviously very good at this, but how good are the other guys as well?
No, honestly, the whole front group is just so competitive. The 2 KTMs there, just speed demons, you know, so it's hard keeping up with them. Then a bunch of us is just battling it out. Every corner there's a new leader, so it honestly really is competitive. It's battling all the way through to the finish line. You don't know who's going to take it out.
Well, Mitch, you're absolutely right. The competition in the Shock Treatment 400 Supersport is extremely close, and picking a winner from this quality field is near impossible. Speaking of which, they're warming up for the opening Sunday race on our schedule, and here's how they're going to line up. Keogh Watson will start from pole and has Kyle O'Connell, Jared Brook and Dan Thomas alongside him. On the second row, we have Mitchell Kuhn, Andrew Edzer, Jason Whitehead and Ryan Dadd. Row 3 consists of Brendan Watson, Damien Langford, Robert Penman and Lionel Bennett, with Jared Cooper, Kurt Johns, Andy Stagg and Craig White completing the 4th row.
25 kilometres away from finding out, in fact, as the race is about ready to get underway. Oh, great start there from the inside of the front row. Brooke, I think it was it not?
Yeah, Brooke, a brilliant start.
Wow. Out of there like a startled gazelle, wasn't he?
Absolutely, rocketed off the line. Reaction time is a very key ingredient of getting a standing start right, and Brooke was a great exponent of it, but already under pressure from Watson as they hit the back straight.
Yeah, Keogh Watson got a good start as well and has managed to maintain that momentum. Here it goes, down the back straight. Watson in the slipstream. Dan Thomas in 3rd place at the moment, but it's all about Brooke in front as they head down into turn 3 for the first time. Here comes the brakes, the big manoeuvre. Who's got the biggest set of brakes at the end of the straight?
Well, at the moment, Brooke's got enough to hold on there, but we noticed that yesterday, these two were so evenly matched. Here comes Watson up there on the inside. No, he yields for the moment, so he follows Brooke through as they make their way out of Lord of the Lake for the first time. A little bit of action further back there, the battle for 4th and 5th as well. And everybody safely through this first time around.
In the meantime, our race leader coming down Races.World straight. He's got all sorts of pressure, trying to go around the outside. There is Keogh Watson, unable to do it. Fairly staged in 3rd place is Dan Thomas on board his Inglis Plumbing, Lockie Thomas Racing, Yamaha, but it's all about these front 2 runners. Keogh Watson tries to snap to the inside. Don't think he can do it though, as Brooke snaps across, has the better racing line through Shark Leathers.
We did that on quite a few occasions yesterday. You'll notice the slipstreaming in this race, ladies and gentlemen. Fascinating between Brooke and Watson all day yesterday. The runoff 2 key for Watson. The running order after 1. Thomas there in 3rd spot behind Brooke and Watson, of course. Kuhn in 4th spot and Kyle O'Connell rounding out the top 5.
Yeah, heading down the bikehaggle.com.au back straight. It looks like Dan Thomas didn't get the start that he really wanted, and he's struggling a little bit in 3rd place, but he's chipping away a little bit. That gap is just getting marginally smaller each time. What will be to his advantage is if Keogh Watson can get up onto the back of Brooke as he's trying very hard now down into the entrance of Lord of the Lake. If they can get involved in a battle together, Thomas may be...
He'll latch back on.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly as we saw in the previous race with Thompson. So they make their way out of Lord of the Lake and along races.world. Down towards shock treatment. Watson again closes up right onto the tail there of Brook, of course, as they come round onto the main straight. Then line astern they'll be on the main straight now to complete lap 2 of 8. Watson got a terrific run out of the corner. He moves to the inside, but again, Brook just has that straight line speed, that advantage to be able to hold the position going back into turn 1. I was going to say, let's have a look at this. Jared Brook fastest lap, 1:25.4120, and no real surprise there. Watson at 4:5.02. That's how evenly matched they are.
Yeah, but yeah, not that much difference between the two of them, and that's pretty obvious. You don't need me to tell you that. You can see it on screen here. But the 21 of Brook doing a great job. Here comes Keogh Watson. He's got the slipstream. Is he close enough this time? Can he outbrake him? He can't. Watson just backed off momentarily earlier than Brook there. Concentrates on getting the drive out of Matrice Dampers.
I think yesterday I made mention on commentary that this category was the one that the slipstream was most noticeable, the effect of the slipstream, and it's no different so far this morning, particularly with Watson here following Brook into turn 4. We're sticking with the lead battle at the moment, not to take anything away from the boys behind them, because they're having a real good ding-dong. Thomas O'Connell and Kuhn, of course, there they are going through your screen there at the moment. But there's all eyes on the front of the field, because we just simply don't know how long it's going to be before Watson makes a move. We know he will make one. We're just waiting for when.
Jared Brook there under a bit of pressure from Keogh Watson. Now you've got Dan Thomas under pressure from O'Connell. Kyle O'Connell right up onto the rear cowling of him as he heads down the Hi-Tec Oils main straight. Keogh Watson, the first one to make a manoeuvre. He can't do it, but look out for Kyle O'Connell there. He's got up the inside of Dan Thomas, relegating him back to 4th.
Beautiful manoeuvre from O'Connell. He's slotted up there nicely. Thomas looking to respond on the inside, going through 2. And not yet been able to do it, but a real good scrap here. Of course, we mentioned yesterday, Thomas, very impressive in that third race. Nothing taken away from O'Connell, though. He's started off this morning beautifully.
Halfway through this one, let's recap who's who in the zoo. It's Brook, Watson, O'Connell. As you can see, a dive up the inside by Dan Thomas. Can he maintain it? He can't. Oh, goodness me. Unfortunately for O'Connell, tried to get up the inside. Dan Thomas, very lucky to stay upright there. We'll get back to who's who in the zoo a little bit later. O'Connell getting himself set, ready to get back onto the circuit, trying to rejoin the race, get his gear in position to get out of harm's way, trying to get to the inside of the circuit. That Yamaha there doesn't want to play the game. In the meantime, back to the pointy end of the field. Very lucky for both of them there. Hopefully Dan Thomas has come away unscathed there, and that should consolidate his position in 3rd, assuming, of course, that he has no mechanical drama. But still leading this one is Brook ahead of Watson.
And rightly so at the moment. Our attention returns to the front of the field. Unlucky for O'Connell. More on that a little bit later as they make their way through turn 1 once more. Watson all over the back of Brook at the moment as they make their way into turn 2.
Yeah, a damning effort there from everybody. Let's have a look at a replay here. O'Connell just tried to get up the inside of Dan Thomas. Dan Thomas leaning on him. O'Connell unfortunately clipping the inside of Dan Thomas there and came off worse for wear. Very lucky indeed for Dan Thomas to stay upright. In the meantime, back to live action at the end of the bikehaggle.com.au, back straight, and it is the 21 of Brook that still leads Watson. Watson was not close enough then, Zach. Although lap after lap he seems to be lining him up. He just needs to be that 1 or 2 bike lengths closer.
Well, that's exactly right. He seems to be edging inch by inch, just that little bit closer as the laps go by. But Brook doing a fabulous job to hold that lead at the moment through Lord of the Lake onto the races.world straight here at Queensland Raceway. Brook leading by 0.13 of a second at the moment. It'll be probably about the same margin when they get back to the line. It'll be the end of lap 5, 3 to go. Fastest lap of the race so far. Brook on that 4th lap, 1:25.0892.
Yeah, in the meantime, though, what Keogh Watson on board the Silverline Gears Racing C&M Motorcycles self-storage KTM needs to do is concentrate from here. He needs to make sure that he gets a good run out of Shark Leathers through into Dunlop Sportsmax so he can get onto the tail of Brook and for the rundown, bikehaggle.com.au straight, where he is very strong under brakes into Patrice Dampers. Here he comes out of here now. He got a great run there, but has he left it a little bit early? Has he snapped to the inside too early? He's not maximising the slipstream. Having said that, side by side, it comes down to the outbraking manoeuvre. On the outside is Brook, on the inside is Watson. Watson yields a little bit there, gets a tighter line. Does he get the drive out of Patrice Dampers for the rundown, bikebiz.com? The answer is no, he doesn't get it correct there, but he's under siege now is Brook, as here comes Watson, under brakes down into Lord of the Lakes. Can he do it? No, he can't. Brook covered his line very well.
He certainly did. He's been the strong one under brakes at 3 all day, and that's set him up nicely for the run up to 4, and now he's held it beautifully through 5 on the run down to 6 once more. So Watson's still got a couple of opportunities here, including here at 6, but he yields again. Again, Brook doing a fabulous job under brakes as they go through shock treatment corner. Back onto the main straight, 2 laps, 6.24 kilometres to go, and it's Brook leading Watson by about 2 bike lengths at the moment. Click your finger, that's all it is, quarter of a second. And the last time by lap 5, that was lap 6. On lap 5, Brook renewed his fastest lap of the race, 1:24.8096, and Watson did his PB as well. So they're so evenly matched at the moment that we've not seen more than 1-2 bike lengths separate them at any point in this race. Another terrific run by Watson off 2. This time he has a real sniff up on the inside. But what will Brook be able to do under brakes? Will he be able to hold the line and hold the lead, or will Watson dive? No, again, backs out of a little bit earlier than Brook, and Brook holds the position and the lead as they go out of 3. So again, just what he's been able to do under brakes has helped him immensely in this race, and he's been able to hold Watson at bay.
Well, I think Keogh's father, Ken, will be counselling Keogh after this one, saying out of turn 2, Dunlop Sports Max, get a better run behind him. Don't snap to the inside so early. Maximise the drafting ability that you've got, and that will help you under brakes down in turn 3. Slower rider there, unfortunately balking Keogh Watson momentarily. He needs to put that out of his mind and concentrate again from here on in to turn 3. That's the key to the success of passing with Keogh Watson. He needs to maximise the good line through Shark Leathers, out of Dunlop Sports Max, and this may well be an advantage for him. He's not as close to Brook as what he has been over the last couple of laps, so therefore he may be able to get a more effective run out of Dunlop Sports Max.
Ask the question, did the fact that he lost that buffer through Lord of the Lake cost him a slipstream opportunity coming down the main straight? Yes. Maybe so, and it looks as though he's going to lose it going down the back straight, so this might just be enough for Brook to hold on, but 4 quarters to go, who knows? Let's
recap the results of the previous round. Dominating, getting pole position and a perfect 6 victories, 151 points. Maximum points, couldn't do any better. That's for this man on screen, Keogh Watson. This weekend, he got a race victory yesterday and 2 second places, and he's sort of taking second fiddle at the moment. I don't know how that's going to affect him psychologically at the end of the day.
And he also got the pole position too, didn't he? So he gets the 1 point there. So very important to note as they go through Lord of the Lake and onto races.world for the final time. A terrific performance from Jared Brook. Fastest lap of the race. He's led every lap as well. And it was one at the start.
Here comes Watson. He's winding him up, trying to get a good run out of shock treatment. I don't think he's close enough, though. He needs the full length of the straight. I don't think he'll get him by the time he gets to the strike line, side by side. Oh, it's so close. Who is it? Was it Brook or was it Watson? 0.0069 seconds. Brook gets it just ahead of Watson. What a gallant effort, though, from Keogh Watson to be able to try and get that placing.
So Jared Brook takes the win right on the line ahead of Keogh Watson. Mitchell Kuhn comes home in 3rd ahead of Dan Thomas in 4th, and Grant Jordan finishes 5th aboard his Honda. Completing the top 10 are Ryan Dadd, Jason Whitehead, Andrew Edzer, Brendan Watson and Damien Langford.
Thanks, yeah, it's been good battles all weekend with Keogh and Mitch as well, so yeah, it's been awesome.
We now bring you highlights of races 2 and 3, where the open warfare between Jared Brook and Keogh Watson continued. As race 2 got underway, Brook, Watson and Mitchell Kuhn bolted from the start on almost equal terms. But it was the KTM of Watson who swooped around the outside of Kuhn's Yamaha at turn 1 and headed the field with Brook in tow. After only a lap and a half, the KTM pair had broken clear of the rest of the field, and it wasn't long before Brook pounced on lap 2 at Matrice Dampers turn 3 to take the lead away from Watson. As Brook attempted to consolidate his race lead, the centre of attention turned to the battle for third, where up to 6 riders battled it out. Dan Thomas was successfully holding his nerve in third place, despite the immense pressure being placed upon him by Mitchell Kuhn, Grant Jordan, Andrew Edzer and a fast recovering Kyle O'Connell, who started from the rear of the field. Back at the pointy end, Watson finally managed to slip past Brook at the final corner at the end of lap 5, but would only hold the race lead for just 2 more corners as Brook took back the lead at Dunlop Sportmax turn 2. Meanwhile, the battle for third saw Kuhn snatch that position away from Thomas along the bikehaggle.com.au back straight. Thomas was having none of that though and attempted to pass Kuhn on the outside at the final corner, but got squeezed out of the way by O'Connell and dropped back to 7th. Whilst that was all happening, Brook and Watson continued their epic fight for the lead. Watson retook the lead position starting the last lap, but once again, Brook got past him at Matrice Dampers, and from there, it was all smooth sailing to the checkered flag, with the gap only 0.42 seconds between them at the end. The fight for third was decided at the final corner, as Thomas snuck past O'Connell and would hold on to claim the final podium position. The 400 Supersport field reconvened late on Sunday afternoon for the final race of the weekend, and from the get-go, it was Jared Brook who bolted out of the blocks to assume the race lead ahead of Watson and the Yamaha of Thomas. Thomas fell back to 4th along the back straight as Kuhn climbed up to take the final podium position during that opening lap. However, his reign in third was short-lived as Thomas pulled out of the tow approaching the final corner and took back third at the end of lap 1. The Yamaha duo would then trade blows in their fight for third, oblivious to their opposition behind them. But whilst that was happening, Brook's almost perfect weekend came to a crashing end on lap 3, exiting Lord of the Lake, where the front end simply fell out from under him. The crash put him out of the race and handed the lead to Watson unopposed. Brook's demise also saw the battle for third become the battle for second. On lap 5, Edzer and his Kawasaki Ninja 300 shot past Kuhn, negotiating Matrice Dampers to claim third place. But a poor run down Bike Biz saw him drop back to 4th as Kuhn reclaimed that spot at Lord of the Lake. 2 laps later, third place became second when Kuhn roared past Lockie Thomas's Yamaha at turn 1. That was until Edzer pulled out of their tow to claim second at Matrice Dampers on the penultimate lap and briefly held that spot until Kuhn clawed his way back 1 corner later. And much like race 2, it went down to the final corner on the final lap as Kuhn and Edzer squabbled for second. Thomas carried plenty of momentum to force his way past and claim second place. At the front though, Watson and his KTM took out the final race of the weekend ahead of Thomas, with Kuhn holding on for third.
Dad had my pit board out, so I knew I had a fair gap, but yeah, I was just sort of maintaining the lead, not risking anything, because it was unfortunate to see Jared go down after he'd pretty much been dominant all weekend. I couldn't get the better of him, so it's a shame for me to win it like that, but yeah, in the end I've sort of tried to be there all weekend, so it's not bad for a 3-year-old bike, so yeah, I'm pretty stoked with that.
We have more on-track action to come after the break as we bring you the exotics of the FX Pro Twins, Nakedbikes and Supertwins 700s, so don't wander too far. Thanks for joining us here at Queensland Raceway as we welcome you back to our Round 2 coverage of the Hi-Tec Oils Australian FX-Superbike Championship. We now turn our attention to the FX Pro Twins, Nakedbikes and Supertwins 700s, and the man they're all trying to stop is Ryan Yanko. He dominated the opening round at Sydney Motorsport Park. He leads the Pro Twins F1 standings as well as the overall series points. The gap between himself and second place Nick Marsh is only 23 points, with Brendan Watson sitting a further 10 points adrift. Simon Galloway and Aaron Breesy complete the top 5. We'll be picking up all the action of the final race of the weekend soon, but before we do, here are all the highlights from their earlier 2 encounters. In race 1, it was Ryan Yanko who got the jump to lead into turn 1 ahead of the Yamaha of Brendan Watson and the Aprilia of Nick Marsh. Not having the best of starts was Adrian Pierpoint, who dropped back to 4th in the early stages. By the end of lap 1, Yanko had cleared away from his opposition, with focus turning to the battle for second between Watson, Marsh, Pierpoint and James Robinson aboard his Ducati. The big mover in the battle was Pierpoint, who snuck past Marsh at the final corner, and at the end of lap 2, he then roared past Watson along the bikehaggle.com.au back straight the very next lap with consummate ease. Unfortunately, Marsh's race came to a premature end on lap 4 when he suffered mechanical failure at the final corner. His retirement elevated Robinson up to 4th place, and 4th soon became 3rd for the Ducati rider when he passed Watson's Yamaha at Patrice Dampers on lap 5. Meanwhile, at the front, Yanko was never challenged all race long and took the win by a comfortable 5 seconds ahead of Pierpoint, with Robinson coming home in 3rd.
Thanks, Becky. We sort of just followed off from how we started yesterday. Got out in front and just chased a bit of air.
The Pro Twins field returned to the track for race 2 around lunchtime, and this time it was the Yamaha of Brendan Watson who jumped clear at the race start. Yanko and Pierpoint were slow initially to get away, but would eventually fall in behind the Yamaha as the race settled in. Watson's time in the lead would be brief, however, as Yanko took that spot away along the bikehaggle.com.au back straight. Watson would then drop back to 3rd just moments later as Pierpoint claimed 2nd spot at Patrice Dampers. Watson would then fall out of the top 3 as the Ducati of Robinson swooped around him on the outside of the final corner to claim 3rd spot. Whilst that was all happening, Pierpoint upstaged Yanko commencing the 2nd lap and took the lead away at Dunlop Sportsmax turn 2. This began a race-long fight between the pair. Pierpoint would hold the race lead for the next 2 laps until he carried too much momentum, negotiating the final corner on lap 4. This gave Yanko the opportunity to slip past, back into the lead without any hesitation. The Ducati rider would lead for the remainder of the 8-lap duration, but it wasn't a comfortable ride by any means. Pierpoint managed to regain his momentum after his near off on lap 4 and hounded Yanko lap after lap after lap. Eventually, the persistency finally broke Yanko's back, and the Aprilia rider dived down the inside at turn 1 to take the lead on the last lap. From there, he broke away just enough to take a popular win ahead of the Ducati by 0.4 seconds. James Robinson would complete the final podium position.
Oh, yeah, it was great out there too. The bike was going just great, and luckily for me, Ryan didn't put in his new tyre in, and I got a new tyre in, so that was the difference today. So, yeah, I really enjoyed that race. It was nice and clean. I had to go right from the start, so I was pretty lucky, I think, to get there in the end, because I know he was suffering with his tyre. So, but we'll take it.
And so here is the grid for the 3rd and final Sunday race for the FX Pro Twins and Nakedbikes. Adrian Pierpoint will start from pole position, and joining him on the front row are Ryan Yanko, James Robinson and Aaron Breesy. On the 2nd row we have Brendan Watson, Nick Marsh, Aaron Smith and Steen Walsh. And the 3rd and final row consists of Luke Ruckley, Richard Maricini and Chris Day.
We just saw Adrian Pierpoint there put the thumbs up to Ryan Yanko, who nodded to him and waved to him, so all good camaraderie out there, and the starter's hands, away we go. Pierpoint gets the best of it. He's got the whole shot this time. I don't think Yanko can get up the inside of him, can he? No, he can't. So Pierpoint it is, that leads through shark leathers on the run down to Dunlop Sportsmax.
Interesting to note that, as we're saying, 2 different classes for our top 2 bikes, even though they should secure. As Yanko looks to come up on the inside now of Pierpoint, the run down the back straight. Yanko, what can he do under brakes? He dives for it, and Yanko will go to the lead, and that's exactly what I was talking about.
Yeah,
even though
switch back.
Oh, Pierpoint tries to Yanko does enough to hold the position for the moment on the run of the corner. As I was saying, they win their outright classes if they stay where they are. Sorry, their class, but in terms of outright position, getting to the flag first and bragging rights, it's all to play for.
Yeah, Yanko there getting very squirrely under power on turn number 3. Just getting that rubber a little bit not quite hot enough at the moment. And I thought he was going to come unstuck. Got a problem there for one of the riders going off onto the infield. Just missed who that was. They're down towards the lake area on the outside of board of the lakes. Off the lake, I should say, parking it up against the tyre barrier in safe conditions. Yanko, Pierpoint, Marsh, Watson and Robinson at the end of lap 1.
And a good considerable margin from Yanko back to Pierpoint, 0.6333 of a second. So he's in control at the moment. So not only did he get to the front, but he's also accelerated on that and built on it. So he'll be hoping to continue that across the course of the race, although I don't think we've seen the last of Pierpoint just yet.
Brendan Watson under siege there from, I think you'll find it's Robinson on board machine number 88 and Breesy on 58. They're all up there in the fray, battling it out for the minor placings of 4th, 5th and 6th respectively.
And Marsh just a handful of bike lengths up the road in 3rd, having a good start there in the opening 2 laps of this race. So they make their way through Lord of the Lake, what we affectionately call Snake Gully, of course, here at Queensland Raceway, and head up races.com straight here, sorry, races.world straight. Now I've done it as well, we're even. And they make their way back around onto the main straight one more time. 2 gone, quarter race distance, 6 laps to go.
Robinson now in front of Watson as they head down the Hi-Tec Oils main straight to complete laps 2, now starting lap 3 of 8. A good battle for this minor placings. Personal best time put in a 1:13.05, the fastest lap of the race so far for Yanko on lap number 2. And obviously everybody else has put in their personal best lap because the first one was a standing start.
That's exactly right. One of the great things about motorcycle racing is obviously the standing start factor, seeing who can get the whole shot and then seeing who has the pace to continue on with it as the laps go on. And at the moment, you'd say Yanko and Pierpoint are in a league of their own. It's 5.6 seconds from 1st to 3rd in this race. So Pierpoint himself has got a 4.4 second margin over Marsh at the moment. So you've got the 2 classes there. Of course, F1 and Nakedbikes 1 and 2, and the second of the F1 bikes in 3rd.
Well, Ryan Yanko on board the Better Pork Kabuta 5 Gloves Racing Ducati 1299, leading Adrian Pierpoint on the Aprilia Tuono after Pierpoint got a lightning start. And I thought he was going to run away with this one, but to Yanko's credit, he fought back over the opening lap and a half and has now got a very dominant lead of 1.5 seconds over Adrian Pierpoint.
Not as dominant a margin as we saw throughout the course of yesterday, but still enough to be comfortable at the moment for Yanko as they head down the back straight. Pierpoint doing all he can to stick with him. And that makes you wonder, was Yanko just letting Pierpoint have his moment there earlier, or was there actually a little issue with the bike? He did say something about tyres, didn't he, in the post-race presser with Becky, so maybe he's paid attention to detail on the tyre front in between these 2 races.
Well, we did note that on the first lap at turn 3, when he did get up the inside of Adrian Pierpoint at the end of the bikehaggle.com.au back straight under power, he was a little bit squirrely, a little bit wriggly, so maybe he's got a new tyre on there, just taking a little bit of time to get that temperature in, dial the bike into the circuit, so to speak, and now he's quite comfortable.
Now we've got a battle here between the 15 of Marsh and the 88 of Robinson. Robinson all over the back of Marsh at the moment. One step up from Marsh, and Robinson will go through. Half race distance, 4 down, 4 to go. We start lap 5. Robinson holding on to 4th. Marsh the last of the podium positions at the moment. So this is a fight to see who joins Yanko and Pierpoint, should they stay where they are, on the podium at the end of this one. A very good performance so far from Marsh.
Yeah, well, you can see that a 1:15.8 versus a 1:15.7, so they're very close together. But it looks like Robinson is just chipping away from Marsh at the moment. Likewise, though, Marsh is doing enough to hold off the challenge of Robinson. Will he be able to continue that over the next 3 or 4 laps?
We shall wait and see. It's been incredible. Robinson's been, from yesterday to today, Robinson's been the improved performer as far as I've been concerned, and I'm sure you probably will have an opinion on that.
Oh, I agree.
Marsh and Robinson still fighting over those positions, whereas yesterday it was Marsh and Watson. So Watson's lost ground today, whereas Robinson's gained as they go out of Lord of the Lake onto the races.world straight and on the way down to turn 6 now. This has been a terrific performance from Robinson, who's now all over the back on the outside line of Marsh. But Marsh with that tighter inside line holds third spot for the moment. But I'm sure he senses that Robinson is right there ready to pounce.
Absolutely. On board the Superbike source mediation equipment roofing S-Market. Mead Signs Wagner Group Services Aprilia RSV4 is Nick Marsh. And he's holding off the challenges of James Robinson on his Ducati 1199. This is the battle for third place that we're looking at. Right behind them, Brendan Watson, who is a part and parcel of the ProWorks Blaney motorcycle entourage. His father, Mark Watson, team manager, pit board entourage as well. Doing a good job to egg on his son to try and get that third placing.
And isn't peer pressure from the parents one thing to go by? 6 of 8, so they're going to start lap 7 as they come across the line this time by. It's Yanko and Pierpoint leading the way in this motorcycle race.
Over the strike line goes our top 2, Yanko and Pierpoint.
Pierpoint's closed that gap considerably now. So whether or not personal best and fastest lap of the race, actually, that's why. 1 minute 12.7346. 0.6 of a second the margin there, and that's the thing that we've got to pay attention to over this last couple of laps.
This is not over and done with yet, is it?
Yeah, exactly right. Is Pierpoint just coming on strong at the end, or has Yanko just, eased the hand off the throttle?
Well, tyre management, we've talked about that throughout the entire weekend. We're only speculating on who had what at the beginning of this race, based on comments from earlier on. And you'll find that Yanko it is that's still leading ahead of Pierpoint. Marsh, Robinson and Watson battling it out for third. Breesy, Smith, Ruckley, Day and Maricini rounding up your top 10.
So they're going to come back to the last quarter, shock treatment turn, head on to the Hi-Tec Oils main straight, last lap board in the air, 3.12 kilometres to decide whether Yanko gets his 5th outright win or Pierpoint gets his 2nd of the weekend.
Over the strike line, down into Shark Leathers. It is still Yanko that's leading, but here comes Adrian Pierpoint. He needs a good run out of Dunlop Sportsmax. He looks much stronger, much faster. Will he duck in behind Yanko this time, get the slipstream down the bikehaggle.com.au straight? Oh, you can see Yanko was wise to that. He went to the inside line, blocked off any opportunity that Adrian Pierpoint had there on getting past him. Out of turn 3, Matrice Dampers, the rundown bikebiz.com. This is the last lap, the last opportunity, probably only 2 more opportunities. This one leading into Lord of the Lake, unable to do it. Needs a good run out of here, and down races.world does Adrian Pierpoint for a battle under brakes in shock treatment. He's got a good drive. Is he going to be close enough? He's too wide though. Goes for the wide entry, looks for the cutback. Coming towards a checkered flag. He's got to go. Oh, gets out of the saddle. Power to the ground a little bit earlier. That means he's going to lose out on the battle. Ryan Yanko gets victory there, but not for the want of trying. Adrian Pierpoint, a close 2nd place. Looking for the battle in 3rd. Here comes Brendan Watson down the inside of Marsh. Has he got the intestinal fortitude to hold on to it? Watson looks like he's going to get the drive out of 6 and down to the checkered flag for 3rd. He's done it. Left his best to last. Well done to Brendan Watson.
So Ryan Yanko holds on to beat Adrian Pierpoint by only 0.2 seconds after 8 hard-fought laps. Brendan Watson takes home 3rd place ahead of Nick Marsh in 4th, James Robinson in 5th and Aaron Breesy in 6th. Aaron Smith, Luke Ruckley and Chris Day complete the field.
We went out in that last race for the day. I thought Adrian might be a little bit stronger than me going into it, so we put another tyre on because we were having dramas in the last race, and it seemed to work out all right. Fortunately, I was able to hold him off for the 7-8 laps that we had. So.
Now it's time to take a look back at the AmSport 600 standalone race, which forms an integral part of their championship that runs concurrently with the Matrice Dampers Supersports. Garth Graves was the dominant figure in the AmSport 600 class all weekend, and immediately got the jump to quickly clear away from fellow rider Oscar Davidson and Sydney-sider Brian Bolster. By the end of lap 1, Graves had opened up a 2-second gap over Davison, and such was his pace over his opposition, it was easy to see why he was in complete control of the class, even with the settling sun late on Sunday afternoon. As Graves continued to clear ahead, the focus turned to the battle for second, third and fourth between Davidson, Bolster and Matthew Franco. The trio stayed within close company of each other for the opening 3 laps before Bolster got excellent drive out of Matrice Stampers turn 3 on lap 4 and carried it through to Lord of the Lake turn 5, where he passed Davison for second place. But Bolster's grip on second only lasted for 1 lap before Davison dived past him at Matrice Dampers. Not content to stay in third, Bolster attempted to do the switchback on Davison 3 corners later and almost pulled it off. He wouldn't need to wait long though, as he shot past the Suzuki rider into second at Lord of the Lake with 2.5 laps to go. Davidson would try to reclaim second on the final lap by making 2 further attempts on Bolster. Firstly, he tried to go round the outside at Matrice Dampers but couldn't find a way past. Then he tried to slingshot past him on the outside at Lord of the Lake, but was quickly cut off by Bolster and lost momentum, allowing Franco to jump into third. Out front, Graves was too good and took the race win with Bolster home in second and Franco in third.
I'm knackered. I'm absolutely stuffed. It's been a long weekend, but yeah, great to finish it with a win. No, pushing the whole way. I'm not flexible enough to see behind me, so I had no idea where the guys were, so I just had my head down and just kept pushing the whole race.
Well, we still have plenty more to come here at Queensland Raceway. On the other side of this break, the Races.World Formula Oz class hits the tarmac. Welcome back to Queensland Raceway for our continuing Round 2 coverage of the Hi-Tec Oils Australian FX-Superbike Championship of 2018. We now move on to the Races.World Formula Oz class, which is open to B, C and D grade riders. It's the run what you've run class where almost anything goes as long as it passes scrutineering. As we take a look at the championship standings, it's Brett Harper who sits atop on 125 points, 37 clear of Michael Jeffrey. Somfort Rosner currently sits in third, with Mark Wolford and Michael Witchard completing the top 5. And speaking of Michael Witchard, he'll be leading the field away from pole position, having dominated qualifying on Saturday. They're readying themselves for their first race on Sunday, so let's take a look at the grid. Michael Witchard starts off pole position aboard his Yamaha R1 ahead of Rahi Mawika, Joel Rhodes and Dean Hasler sharing the front row. Row 2 has Mark Wolford, Brett Harper, Somfort Rosner and Paul Curran. Roger Berman, Mick Marsh, Mark Nassif and Dwayne Town occupy row 3, whilst on the 4th row we have Lee Appleby, Gary Keller, Mike Fairley and Aaron Smith.
All right, in the starters' hands, ready for race 5 on today's program. Races.World Formula Oz, race 1, a great start from Hasler on the inside. He snaps across the front of the field. He'll get the whole shot. A repeat performance from yesterday.
Oh, spread eagle the field off the line there, and the whole shot's what it's all about. Absolutely blitzed them into the first corner. And it looks as though Mahuika's slotted there into second position. So the rest of the field make their way through and onto the back straight for the first time. Witchard's slotted into 4th, I can see.
As they make their way down the bikehaggle.com.au back straight for the first of 8 times. You can see jostling of positions there. Somebody going extremely wide round the outside. Almost outbroke himself, but he managed to keep it on the black stuff, and that's the most important thing.
I'm feeling that might have been Witchard.
Yes.
At turn 3 there as they head up towards Races.World through bikebiz.com.au into Races.World, sorry, into Lord of the Lake and then to Races.World as they make their way through. This is the first lap. What a start that was from Hasler, leading the way. Mahuika's got into second spot. Rhodes there third, Witchard as well under pressure, and so too Harper in there too.
A good manoeuvre up the inside at the bottom end of Races.World Straight. Ironically, coincidentally, whatever you want to call it, because that's the sponsor of this category of racing. Out of shock treatment for the run down Hi-Tec Oils Main Straight, and it is all Dean Hasler ahead of Mahuika. Then we have Witchard, Rhodes, Harper, Berman, Curran, Wolford, Town, Rosner. Then we have Marsh, Nassif, Keller, Jones, Di Jones up there. Then we have Smith, Appleby and Fairley look like they've been non-starters in this one, Zach.
Yeah, it looks like that. Oh, actually, no, Fairley's just come through there in 16th position, so he's a long way off the pace. Just Appleby that we've lost. Field makes its way back into turn 3, Mattress Dampers corner, and then on the way up the bikebiz.com.au straight here, Hasler leading Mahuika and Witchard at the moment. And it was 0.6 of a second, Hasler to second spot Mahuika at the end of the first lap, so he got a very good hole shot and then was able to go on with it.
He certainly was and certainly did as they make their way through Lord of the Lake turns 4 and 5 for the run down. Races.World straight. Fairly set in their positions at the moment, Zach. There's no real challenges happening other than maybe a millisecond here or there. It is only lap 2 of 8 that they're completing, so we're only at a quarter race distance.
Cameron's just picked up position 4 and 5, Rhodes and Harper. That seems to be the positional battle in the top 5 at the moment, just 0.4 of a second separating them. But then again, you've got to keep an eye on Witchard as well. He's only 0.6 away from Mahuika, so he's closing in there, and they're all starting to catch Hasler at the front of the field. So Mahuika's just tucked into his gap there at the moment as well.
I don't think Hasler's all that worried, though. He seems to be the type of rider that likes to lead from the front as opposed to chase from just behind. And having said that, momentary mind lapse there in concentration, outbroke himself, and that's allowed Mahuika to get momentarily up into first place, but not for long. Hasler answers the call straight away.
Yeah, absolutely. Roared back up on the inside, and now Witchard's giving Mahuika a real hurry up as they come through turn 5. So watch for Witchard when we get down to 6. Will he be close enough to have a crack? Yes, he will be. Will he make the move? Oh, yes, he will. Up on the inside. Mahuika hangs on the outside. Witchard on the inside. Witchard wins the corner.
Well, what Hasler did down in turn 3, Mahuika did in turn 6. Both of them outbroke themselves, went too wide, and this time Witchard now gets up into second place, as you said.
And a very good manoeuvre from him as well. He's got the fastest lap of the race on lap 2, 1 minute 12.7983 at the moment. Brought the gap back down to 0.48 of a second between himself and Hasler, and he's out after him at the moment. So he closes in here nicely to Witchard, but he's not going to be close enough just yet to have a crack, is he? No, he'll tuck him behind as they go through the Mattress Dampers corner. Rhodes sitting back there in 4th spot, well out of this battle. He was right in the thick of it yesterday, but these top 3 have left them for the moment. Hasler, Witchard, Mahuika, status quo as they head down to turn 4.
Yes, as they make their way out of turn 4 and into turn 5, the combination known as Lord of the Lake. A very important section of the circuit, as we've talked over the weekend. If you don't get a good run through those 2 left-handers, then it can affect even the exit of this turn that they're on at the moment, shock treatment.
Back onto the main straight they come. And every corner so important here, as you've correctly pointed out there, Lance. Witchard, he had a look, didn't he? And now Hasler knows that he's there, so whether Hasler winds the wick up a little bit or not remains to be seen. Witchard again just tucks the nose out there and reminds Hasler I'm here as they go through turn 2. A little bit of a wider line coming out of 2, but watch the draft, watch the slip. Big handlebars slapper moment there.
Shimmy, shake there from Witchard.
But it didn't worry him. Didn't worry him at all. It did
worry him. He's got problems. He had to throw that bike away. He had to throw that away to make sure that he didn't go in with the bike. It has obviously winded him a little bit there. He'll be definitely winded. That was very, very dangerous indeed there. Witchard, it looked like maybe even had problems with the brakes coming out of turn 2. He certainly got the shimmy, shake. There's no doubt about that. He's just looking at the bike as if to say, you disgusted me. What did you just do to me? But he's okay, he's up and all right. Here's a replay of it now. You can see him coming through. The red flag has come out. He's hit the brakes. He's got absolutely nothing. If anything, it looks like the bike has accelerated there at the end of the bikehaggle.com.au straight. Now, at this point, he thinks, I'm not going to survive this. I've got to throw it away. Let's put it down and get out of the road so I don't get hit by the bike. And that's good presence of mind there. A little bit of luck as well. But the bike going out to the right-hand side, hitting the tyre wall there and bouncing back again has certainly been to his advantage. Will it be a repeat of the performance of Hasler on the start? Oh, a little bit of movement on the second row. I tell you what, that may come under scrutiny from our officials, not wanting to preempt it at all, but it looked like there may have been a little bit of movement on row 2. In the meantime, though, deja vu. Hasler it is that got the whole shot.
Yeah, and this time from the outside. He was on the inside at the first start from P4. So Hasler started off beautifully again. Mahuika has followed him there down the back straight and already on his tail, looking to make a move up on the inside and very deep under brakes. But I think Hasler might have enough to just hold on here for the moment as they go through the tree stands.
Oh, a couple of them getting a little bit too close for comfort. One rider putting his hand up. I don't know whether that was a gesticulation saying, get out of here, or, oops, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it could be either or. We don't know at the moment. We'll have to seek some clarification on that later.
Was it a Marquez or was it a Marquez?
Yeah, exactly right. Oh, dear, there's been some controversy at the world level this year, hasn't there already?
Here comes Mahuika, a little bit deep under brakes. To his demise, in fact, because he lost out a lot of ground there, didn't he?
He certainly did. Across the line, one lap gone. Look at Mahuika. Right up on the tail of Hasler across the line. 0.1 the margin. Hasler, Mahuika, Rhodes, Berman, Harper, Wolford. Rhodes having a much better run second time round.
He is. Well, Mahuika there has made an absolute liar out of me because it looked like he lost a lot of ground down there in turn 6, and now he's right up onto the tailgate of Hasler. So Mahuika in second place is the man on a move.
So much so that Hasler actually moved to the inside halfway down the back straight there and then returned to the outside just to either try and break the slip train. Now he's run wide. Mahuika fancies his chances up on the inside, but Hasler has the line and holds on. But Mahuika knows he's in with a real chance here at the moment as they make their way up towards Lord of the Lake once more.
It's only a 4-lap race this time, so he can't afford to muck around with this.
No,
you've got to get the lines right. And in the meantime, though, you've got Rhodes coming up very strongly in third place, and he's going to be a man to contend with.
Certainly is. Up towards turn 6 they go now. Shock treatment. It looks as though Hasler takes the tighter line than Mahuika. We've noticed that over at turn 3 as well. And onto the main straight, he has consolidated the lead, and of course on countback he was 1.4 ahead of Mahuika upon the restart based on the first half of the race. He's just clocked the fastest lap of this race, 1 minute 12.7943, and PB's lighting up all across the board, and 0.47 the margin between 1 and 2 at the moment as they come through Dunlop Sport Max and onto the bikehaggle.com.au back straight here at Queensland Raceway. Mahuika again. You see Hasler just trying different lines down the back straight. He moves across to the inside and then he comes back across the outside. Whether that's a strategical thing to break the slipstream or not, or whether it's intentional, I'm not entirely sure.
Well, technically speaking, both of these bikes are identical. They are BMW S1000RRs. Of course, the individual setup is individual, but they're basically, for all intents and purposes, the same sort of machinery. It's not a Yamaha against something else or a different mark or model is what I'm getting at.
And of course, BMW's presence in motorcycle racing has really stepped up a gear, as I said yesterday on commentary, over the last few years, particularly what they've done at World Superbike level. And it's great to see them involved domestically here in the Australian FX Championship for Hi-Tec oils. Across the line we go. Hasler leads Mahuika. We're having a look back there at a few of our minor places at the moment crossing the line. Wolford, Curran coming through, and Town as well. Town was impressive yesterday. Rosner, Keller, and Appleby's jumped up into 11th spot, getting the better of Nassif, and Marsh in 13th. We go back to our leaders on the back straight. Hasler leading Mahuika. Last lap board in the air. We completely missed that. We're half a lap from home, and that's how quickly they go, these 4-lappers here.
Well, it's only half a race because we've already
exactly
had half. All around the outside. Mahuika a little bit too deep there, almost chucked a Witchard. bad luck for him. That's lost him the race. You've got to say he's out of contention now, because you think that Dean Hasler is far too far in front of him.
To be fair, with the 1.4 second advantage that Hasler had coming in, it was always going to be a long shot for Moeika, but to be fair, he's put up a gallant effort and a great fight. It was just that one little small error that deprived him the opportunity of maybe winning this section of the race, and he tries another wide line coming round onto the main straight, but it is going to be Dean Hasler converting once again. A brilliant race.
Yeah, well done to Hasler. He takes the BMW across the strike line in victory.
So Dean Hasler takes out the opening Sunday race in the Races.World Formula Oz ahead of Rawi Mahika, making it a BMW 1-2. Joel Rhodes finishes in third ahead of Brett Harper and Roger Berman, and the top 10 is rounded out by Mark Wolford, Paul Curran, Dwayne Town, Somfort Rosner and Gary Keller.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a good race. Had the young fella here chasing me. Tried to point it up on inside 3, and then I knew I had to hurry up a bit.
With Michael Witchard's Yamaha too badly damaged from the opening race, he will take no further part in proceedings for the rest of the day. As race 2 got underway, Hasler would again get a dream start as he bolted into the first corner unopposed. Mahika and Rhodes were slow away initially, but would recover to drop in behind a fast-starting Brett Harper, who had quickly worked his way into second place in the opening couple of corners. The top 4 positions would remain the same for at least the opening lap and a half before Rhodes got past Mahika to take over third place on lap 2. From there, his next target was Harper's Suzuki. And on the commencement of lap 4, he quickly reined him in and carried good momentum exiting the final corner to slingshot past him along the Hi-Tec Oils main straight and take second place. A few corners later, at Matrice Dampers, Mark Wolford's race came to an abrupt end when he fell victim to the same spot that claimed Michael Witchard in race 1. Whilst all that was happening, Mahika managed to work his way past Harper and promoted himself into third place. But no one could catch Hasler as the laps wound down, and the BMW rider went on to take another race win, 2 seconds clear of Rhodes in second and Mahika in third. The Races.World Formula Oz field lined up one more time for the final race late on Sunday afternoon, but missing from the grid was Mahika, who withdrew due to mechanical issues after race 2. Once again, it was the BMW of Dean Hasler who jumped away from his opposition to take the front-running position. Brett Harper and Joel Rhodes resumed their battle for second place, with Harper taking command of that spot early on lap 1. Harper's time in second place would be short-lived, however, as Rhodes snatched that spot away at the end of lap 1, passing him around the outside, negotiating the final corner. After just one lap, Hasler's lead over Rhodes and Harper was just under 1 second, and that gap would slowly grow as the race went on. Further behind them was an interesting battle going on for fourth place between Roger Berman aboard his Kawasaki and the Suzuki of Somfort Rosner. Rosner would snatch that spot away from Berman at Matrice Dampers on lap 2 and would maintain that position for at least 4 laps. On lap 6, Berman would take back fourth place from Rosner at Lord of the Lake and would not be challenged again once he got past. At the front, it was all smooth sailing for Hasler, who went on to take a clean sweep in the Formula Oz class. His win over Joel Rhodes was over 4.2 seconds. When the checkered flag fell, Brett Harper would come home in third.
Yep, 3 from 3, so I'm pretty happy with that. I thought Joel was a lot closer there at one time because my wife's giving me the hurry up, so I wasn't sure how much of a lead I had. So yeah, it was good fun. Guy that goes like this to hurry up, or gives me a gap like that. Run from that.
And just like that, the second round of the Hi-Tec Oils Australian FX-Superbike Championship comes to a close. Whilst the checkered flag may have fallen today, we now head into an extended winter break. We'll be back on the weekend of September 22-23 for the third round at Lakeside Park in what will be the first national level motorcycle meeting in nearly 2 decades. We look forward to your company then.